And we are live. Hi,
Happy
everyone.
Pride.
Happy
Happy
Pride and
Pride.
happy Sunday. Kimmy, thank you for reminding me about Pride because last week, despite all of my attempts to remember,
I have my pin. I don't know if you can see
All
it.
right.
See it?
Nice.
yay, that's
Well done.
nice.
It says proud parent. That's what it
Yes.
says.
Oh,
That's right.
good. Good,
That's
good, good.
right.
Well, welcome to the Moms for Trans Kids podcast. Me llamo Doctora Lulu. My name is Dr. Lulu. I'm a pediatrician and a life coach, and I focus on gender and sexuality coaching. I'm also a mom of a trans kid, and we usually hang out on Sundays between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. most days. We are here. Kim is my trusted co Mama Beast and co conspirator at this point. And we are usually joined by a willing guest. And today we have Susan Snow. So, Kimmy, welcome to the show and tell us, how has your week been, Kimmy?
Oh, it's been busy. It's been busy. School's out for some. Mine's still going through June, so I'm still kind of doing the mom shuffle there. But I just visited Ypsilanti Pride on Friday night, which was it's a college town near Ann Arbor, and beautiful smaller kind of venue, which was really nice. Tons of vendors and tons of entertainment and lots of artistic kids just floating around there. And it was, so of course I was in my glory. But the best thing about it is I went to the free mom hugs booth, that they have. And I was like, are you a mom, of someone in the queer community? And she said yes. And I said, well, I would like to give you a hug. And so I hugged them, and then they all started lining up to get hugs from me. And I thought that was so cute. And so moms need hugs too. So yeah, it's been a beautiful, busy week.
I love what you just said. It's maybe about a few weeks ago. I did something like that at an event, and all I did was it wasn't about queerness actually. It was just I forgot the event, but every single mom I saw on my way back to my apartment, I just hugged and I literally just showed them my pin, and they would just melt in my arms, and you could just tell that look, mommying is hard. Mommying is very very hard. So Susan, welcome to the show. Thank you for saying yes. I know you booked this. I don't know 10 months ago,
Yeah.
forever ago. But the fact that you still said yes to us this long, out this far out, to me means everything. So welcome to the show. So
Thank
tell
you.
Kimmy and I and all the moms that are watching, why did you decide to come on this show to talk about momming trans kids?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I think it's a really important conversation to have. We need to support one another as parents. And, it's been a while. My kids are actually adults, and they are, you know, nervous about the environment we're in right now. So I have been um, just not leery, but just wanted to finally be able to. I had to talk to them and see how they felt about this. And they think that it's important for us parents to educate other people. And I try to do that since my first one came out. Um, and so now it's to a point where I feel like this is my best way to give back to the community and have one more mom be out there. I'm like you, Kim. I go to Pride. My husband and I have gone to Pride every single year since our first one came out. And it is an environment like no other. I wish the world was like Pride
I
every single
know.
day. Um,
No.
And so, my husband and I are very proud. We are very proud trans parents. And we have always given children, like friends of my kids, a safe space or a safe haven since they were little. So this is just an ongoing part of that, and just making sure that other kids know that they're supported even if they don't have the support system at home.
I love it. I love it. I want to just give a quick shout out to all the folks watching us on LinkedIn. We've got Nikki Jinadu, we've got Jerushaime, we've got Love Jamond. Hey Jamond! We've got I Jennifer Barnes, we've got Spencer Laker, we've got Erox Crest. Lavi, y'all got some names. We've got Softcast One. Y'all just keep on watching. And if you have any questions for any of either the hostesses or the guests, please just type the questions in the comment section. But special hi there to Jennifer Barnes, who is, as far as I'm concerned, a princess. Y'all just you have to be in the space of this human being who's, I don't know what, 6'4", 6'5", beautiful, just beautiful commissioner in the state of New York, and is an out black trans woman. And talking about Jennifer, I want to just mention that, to piggyback on what Susan said about parents needing support. This past weekend, I've been laying in my bed really all day today, because this past weekend we did something that I've never done in my life, which is to have a big old event for parents, supporting parents, piggybacking on youth supporting youth, and then parents supporting youth, and then youth supporting parents, kind of thing. It was beautiful. And it was just, I'm just like in awe. So yes, I absolutely believe that we all need support, and it's okay. It's okay for us to admit that we need support, because we're all human. We're all human. So thanks so much, Susan, for just starting off on that note. And everyone who's watching us from Facebook, also from LinkedIn, just type any questions you have. We can usually showcase your questions in the comment section if you share them with us. Phew. All right. So before we went live, Susan, you mentioned, and I keep forgetting her name is Susan. I keep thinking it's Sophie. But Susan, you mentioned that you would talk about your kids, and we said, yes, you can talk about your children. It's not a problem for us, but really we want to showcase to parents that it's actually okay to talk about your journey as it intertwines with your children, because, being a parent means you have kids. So of course, the kids will come in and out of your journey as a parent. So Kim, did you want to start us off with any questions? I took a couple of notes already, but I wanted you to go first, Kimmy.
Well, I am really excited to jump into Susan's story, because already, you know me, I'm already drawing parallels between our journeys as parents of trans kids. In the room here, between the three of us, we've got 5 trans kids in the building. Okay, so, I think we might know a thing or two about a thing or two. So
right?
Listen up.
Kim is scratching edges right out the gate. Okay. Let's go.
No, so let's just go. Susan, tell us your story.
Okay. Well, my first child was born female, and by the age of 3, we just started watching the changes in our child, where she would just wear boys' clothes all the time. She was played with boys' clothes boys' toys all the time. All the dolls had to have boys' names, and we were like, whatever. But at the same time, it just continued until she became 16. In the teens, we were dealing with a lot of depression, and some cutting and things like that were going on. And we knew that there was something, we always knew there was something different about our child. We just couldn't pinpoint it, right? So at 16, she came out as a gay female. And we thought, okay, but there still was something different. Like there was still something. I felt something was not connected. There was still something missing. Even though my child had so much support, thank God, from the entire family and friends, it just didn't feel right. And it wasn't until she was 18 and I happened to be on Facebook and saw a video of a child that was born in California and was born female, but was running around at an early age saying that she was a boy. And everything paralleled all the talk about, oh, it's she'll grow out of it. It's just a phase. It was everything the same. Like everything that I was told, that my husband was told, was what these parents were told. And when the mom said that her kid was transgender, it was like the sky opened up for me. I was just so like, oh my gosh, that's it. That's it. And I went to my husband and I had him watch the video and he looked at me and said, that's our kid. And the next person we went to was my kid. And my kid watched the video and said, that's me. That's how I have felt from the time I was 3. And we finally had answers. I can't tell you, like, it was the most incredible day. And it was easier for me to let go of my daughter and welcome my son. And at that point, we decided from the very beginning, the first thing, he was 18, but he's still a child in my eyes. So we went to the doctor immediately. We got all of the information, all of the referrals. And I look back at it now, if we had come out way sooner, we wouldn't have had the people and the support system that we had then. And I'm grateful for that. So he started his transition really quickly, very, very quickly. And I was like the goofy mom. Like I would watch him every day when he started on his testosterone journey, and I'd be like, what's different? What's different? Um, but the funny part was there was always something there. So his body type was very straight, like a male. And he's always had an Adam's apple, like a male. So I started to see some of the things. And his dad, it took him a little bit longer. And it wasn't until we were at dinner one night and the waiter came over and said, what would you like to eat, young man? To our son. And it clicked for him. He was like, oh my God, it's there. Like he's always been he's always been a boy. Other people can see it, right? Um, and so that journey has been so incredible to watch him, because when you're dealing with body dysphoria, and you understand this, and the depression and the self-harm and the suicidal ideation, it is like a parent's worst nightmare. And there were nights where I had to lay on his floor and not move because I wanted to make sure my kid remained safe. And we constantly had the conversations that no parent wants to have with their kids on their mental health and their mental safety. And it was a slippery slope for a long time.
Mhm.
But as he started to really evolve, and he is the most beautiful person. Like I am so proud of my son who is now 28, and he got married in October to a wonderful girl. That was the happiest day of my husband and I's life. We were so excited for him
Mm.
to find love, because that's always an
That's
issue.
all we want. That's all we
Always,
want.
that's always an issue, is that we want our kids to find someone who is going to love them like we
Mm.
love them.
Exactly.
Um, and then um, my oldest, my oldest was a totally different situation altogether. Um,
I'll tell you what, before you go to the oldest, I always want to kind of, so I want the people to also respond, because then after a
okay.
while, no, I meant for your first chat. No, I meant for your second chat. So I'm just going to go
Okay.
back a little bit and ask,
No
because we have
problem.
a whole hour, and ask Kim if she has
Yeah,
any
of course.
thoughts at this point. And also, as always, ask the guests. We have a bunch of people on Instagram. I need all of y'all to do me a favor, and just as you're listening, if you have any questions, any concerns, anything that comes up for you, truly we are happy to respond. There's 10 more people that have joined, and we're very happy to answer your questions if you have any. In the meantime, Kimmy, do you have any thoughts from what our beautiful guest has said already today?
Yeah, I'm glowing hearing your story about, the wedding and them finding someone to love them like we love them. I mean, that I can connect with wholeheartedly. And also, the self-harm and the depression and the mental journey that you have to watch and you're witnessing your child go through is I don't, it was harder than childbirth. It was harder than getting my, college degree. It was harder than anything I've ever had to do in my life.
Yep.
So that's important to talk about.
It
Yeah.
is. The
I know
And
mental
it's
that.
the, men,
hard to talk about.
the
Yeah.
mental health side of it, like, people don't realize how intense it can be, and how they rely on us parents so immensely to give them that support, because it's scary to them. And that's why it makes me so sad when there are children out there that just want to be themselves, but they have parents that are so caught up in the ideology, the
I get it.
ideological uh thoughts of how their kids should be, or how they should turn out, or what they want their children to be.
Mhm.
And you've got to let go of all of that, because even though there are children and we bear them, they are their own individual people. They have their own thoughts and their own feelings and their own, ideologies. And can they glean stuff from us as parents? Yeah, absolutely. However, they are still their own people. And that is something my husband and I have always encouraged with our children, is to make sure that you are your authentic self.
Yeah, I noticed something when you were talking. I noticed when you switched from she, her pronouns to he, him pronouns, and maybe because I'm also in the education part, and I wanted to ask why you did that, because I've spoken with many a trans person who have said, well, because I used to struggle with that for my kid. I was like, well, should I continue with the pronouns that were kind of in, yo, Kimmy,
Uh-oh.
you there?
We
Uh-oh.
we lost her.
Hopefully she'll come back. The
There she is.
pronouns. Oh,
No,
okay,
no.
welcome back.
I had to blow my nose. It's like
Oh,
allergy
Oh, okay.
season.
We
I
didn't
didn't think
know.
you wanted to see that.
We
we're
didn't.
like,
We didn't. We couldn't. We didn't know. We didn't
we're
know
like,
because
she
I mean,
disappeared.
I know
This
exactly.
is a
Okay, I'm
live
glad
show, people.
it wasn't just me. It's a normal
Um,
human what a behavior though. So we're not
I
going to
Yeah,
judge you, but
I get what you're
exactly.
saying.
yes,
For storytelling reasons, I use the pronouns that he used to be
Mhm.
so that you can see that I transitioned to he, him. And I did it relatively quickly in the very beginning, which for me, it felt like he was supposed to be he the whole time.
yeah,
So it was easier for me to do that with him.
yeah,
And he chose his new name, and I was so excited about that. But out of respect for me, here's the funny part. His old name was a name that was both sexes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unisex.
His
Yeah.
his middle name is both sexes.
Mm,
So when he chose his first name, he kept his middle name the same
mm,
out of respect for me and his dad,
yeah,
Aw.
which I thought was incredible
yeah.
because I wouldn't care if he changed it to I don't care.
Yeah, I was going to ask you
Yeah.
Right?
if it mattered
I
at the end
don't
of the
care.
day.
Like
Yeah,
Mhm.
this is his life. This is not my life. This is his life.
yeah,
And I just gave it to him. Right?
yeah. Love
But
it.
yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's when you see it at an early age, it's a more of a journey because you're watching them evolve, you're watching them change. um and I had to let go of that ideology of this is who I want my kid to be. Like, some parents will sit back and and think about the day their kid gets married and all the things, right? As a parent, um it was just a little different. It was just different, that's all. But
Yeah.
I still got the same experience. Now with
Mm.
children, it's going to be a different situation. There's
And we,
definitely, you know
even before you move further, just talking about that, I wanted to also mention that I thought it was interesting. Kim and I, we've done at least 35 of these. And I don't know, maybe Kim did 30 and I did 33 or something like that. But I don't think we've ever had a guest who figured it out and then presented it to their kids. Yo, Kim, have we had anyone that did that? Yeah. Because
No, I
basically,
thought
yeah,
that was
yeah.
very interesting.
Yes, exactly. That and I do like
Yeah.
us to discuss as we go, even if we don't get the whole story at the end of the day. But
yeah.
the points that we discover, I like to discuss because that is very interesting. Because I know I had my suspicions, but I didn't go. I didn't do backwards. Every parent that we've spoken to, they've just had their suspicions, but they didn't do it backwards. But you all actually did it backwards, like not backwards. I don't know the word but I'm using, but
So the
you
kid is
actually,
usually the first to come
yes,
to
that's what I mean by
you.
They're
backwards.
usually
Yes,
coming to you. Yeah. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah. So I just thought that was, I
yeah.
wanted to bring that up because I don't want you to think we're listening intently and I'm
Oh
like, wait,
yeah,
what? What did you
no.
just say? Like,
I
this is
I get it.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, because I honestly feel like even within that community, there is pressures. And I feel like he came out as the lesbian because that's what he thought he was.
It's
But
safer.
it's safer. And
Mhm.
so, but I knew even when he came out like that, I knew that there was something not in my heart. I knew that there was still like a disconnect. There was something not right
Yeah.
about that answer.
On all of it. That is so that's just so perceptive. I'm just so proud of you for noting it and for searching for answers, and
Mhm.
also being open to discussing with your husband, and then both of you, I guess, together, I'm thinking, presenting it to the child, and then the child affirming your story and saying, indeed, that's who I was. I thought, Kimmy, I thought Dawn that we had a couple of weeks ago, who had the thing about the love. I think you were not here. that was done when you were not here, but you watched it when I was at the mountains. And I thought
Mhm.
that was crazy because it was like a whole family affair, this whole thing.
Mhm.
I thought that was so cool, crazy as in cool. But this is the next level. This is
It's
why
the
I love
next level, but doesn't it stress how important it is to have these conversations?
Yes, and
Because
I was just going to say that
what
this is why
if
we're talking to as many parents as we can, because as many parents as we've spoken to, we've gotten different versions. This is crazy. I never thought I would hear that before. So it's so good. And I just wanted to
it's
affirm that, and of
working?
course,
That
give you
means
your
it's
flowers.
working.
Yes, give you your flowers. Um, and I just thank you for sharing that story first with them, because I have never heard. And you can bet your bottom that I'm going to post it on the Facebook group. Y'all, did you know that there's such a thing as finding out? And what you did was actually help your child sooner, right? I think, right? Help them
Mhm.
sooner. And I don't like to say come out, but in this case, I almost want to say come out because they didn't first invite you. And this is crazy. I didn't know. Kimmy.
I gave him his dad and I gave him a rebirth party.
Mm,
So when we changed the name and the social security and all the things, I I have to tell you, when I went to social security and they changed his name legally and his gender marker, I sat in the middle of social security just crying.
crying.
I
And
Yeah.
the
cried too. I
and the
cried too.
lady the lady was like, "Are you all right, mom?"
Okay.
And I'm like, "This is amazing." You know what I mean? And so after we did that, my husband and I talked and I said, "I really feel like we should celebrate this, not just within ourselves, but like invite his close friends over and have his siblings
Whole
here
party.
and just have a party, a rebirth
Oh,
party of when
I love it.
that happened, you know?" And it made my child like, oh, he just glowed the whole night. And
Aw.
he doesn't like a lot of attention, but
Mhm.
that that was so reaffirming to him. And you know, we have always, since his journey, we have always just continued with that celebration of who he is. And just, you know, with his new wife now, and you know, the wedding was just incredible. And my husband will say it was the most beautiful wedding he's ever attended in his entire life. Like, and that's not just because it's our kid, but just because, like, seeing him love her the way he sees we it's just incredible. So like I
Kudos to
said,
y'all too. Kudos
I
to you. And so here are your flowers. You know, we are big on giving flowers around here, whether they are virtual or not. We're very big on that. We
Mhm.
love giving flowers. We love just hearing the parent stories. That's why I love it.
Mm.
I'm yeah, I'm definitely, but I am also, um I can be a mama bear. um
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It goes without saying.
Don't let the
Yes.
smile and the sweet voice fool you.
yeah, yeah,
Right?
I can be
Yep.
a mama bear.
And
And
just so you
so
know, for those parents who come on our podcast, we actually renamed them Mama Beasts. We just feel like
nice.
we are ferocious. We're not playing. And like you said, don't confuse the flowers and the nice soft voice. Oh,
Yeah,
we're coming for you. If you
yeah,
come for us,
you come for my
we'll,
children, good
we'll
luck.
come for you.
Good
I love it.
luck.
Good
Yeah,
luck.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So, yeah, I will always, and same with my husband, we will always, like, we will fight for our children.
As you should.
We
As you
will
should.
Mhm.
absolutely fight for our children. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we could at the bottom. We're at the bottom of the hour. Usually at this point we pay our bills. We don't have any sponsors at this point, but we usually just stop to pay bills and ask people to follow us on social media, find us, follow us, support us, tell someone about it, share it widely, especially during this Pride Month. But of course, Pride, as y'all know, is every day for us, right? It's an everyday struggle. I had a newsletter posted last week, and I said, you know, your queerness is a rebellion. When I looked up the definition of rebellion, I was like, that's what being queer in today's world is. We're rebels.
Absolutely.
And so
Mhm.
absolutely, y'all tell someone about this podcast, share it, let someone hear another perspective, because as Kim knows, I always talk about how we focus a whole lot more on the fear and the uncertainty. And like Ben, who wrote this book? Where is the book? Oh my God, the book called "My Child is Trans Now What." Ben Green, who wrote this book, said when he was talking about the book last weekend, he said that one of the things that he thinks about when people are transgender or people are queer is we're all like trying to run away from something. We're all trying to run away from the pain and the fear and the turbulence and the all the drama and the violence and all that. But he wants us through this book to run towards the joy and the celebration and the mama beasting and all of the other things. And I just thought that's a good way to put it, because there's always going to be, you just walk outside your house, there's something.
Oh
But
yeah,
Everywhere. Yeah.
we have huge all-inclusive pride flags in front of our house. I have flamingos that are pride colors in front of my house. And I live in a relatively conservative area, but I will say that if anybody had anything bad to say about it, I wouldn't care. But I have couples that show up that are, gay couples, and they thank us. They thank us for putting it out there. And I said, I'm not going to live in fear my whole life, right? I've gone through a lot myself. I wrote a book about it, but I want my kids to know that too. Like they need to they need to stand in their truth, and they need to be proud of who they are, and it doesn't matter what other people say. It doesn't matter, because those people are either ignorant or they've gone through something in their life. Hurt people, and they're going to attack the people that they don't understand, that they're afraid of, so yeah, I mean, that's always been our lessons for our kids.
yeah,
And
I love that you said hurt people hurt people. A lot of people say that, and I changed it when I heard hurt people who get hurt people who don't get healed hurt people.
exactly.
But over the weekend, we had Judge Rosie. She was one of the special guests that we flew in from San Antonio for the event. I met her. She was my mentor and all that. And she said something that was new to me. She said, healed people heal people. And I was like, yes. So she doesn't talk about hurt anymore. She doesn't focus on the hurt anymore. She
That
focuses
is
on
true.
healed people heal. And I was like, okay, all right. Okay, I love it.
I do that.
We're all learning.
That's
So
my purpose in life.
yes. So Kim, do you want to know more about do you want to kind of know more about the rebirth party, or should we go into, because I think that the rebirth party was just amazing. And of course, to me, that's a real gender reveal party to me, as opposed to the baby one,
Yeah.
which is a genital. Y'all know how I do. I say it's a genital reveal party, but it's a gender reveal party. But so
Yeah.
so I guess you could tell us about the other child or the rebirth. Rebirth, you tell us. It's your story.
Yeah. So our oldest was born male and is now transitioning to be a female. So I got my daughter back. That's kind of our joke around here. But I will say that, her story is a lot different. Her story is, first of all, I think she is the most selfless person ever. She came out to us last year, and she is 31 years old. And we asked her, why did you wait so long? Of all people, like, we are 100%, behind you kids. And she said, well, I was scared, but at the same time, I feel like, she said, I wanted my brother and his transition to continue without taking anything away from that.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
And it was just amazing to me. But of course, my practical side was, well, why didn't you come out sooner? I could have transitioned you both at the same time. And we joke about it, but I will say that her journey has been hard because she has tried to hide behind the masculine her whole life. But there was always that feminine side to her, you know, and now that I put two and two together, I can see it. Um, but I'm so excited now, and she's formally changed her name, and you know, I cried again, and you know, I want to do a party for her too, but she definitely doesn't like a lot of attention, so she's a little, you know, a little different on that, you know. Hopefully I can convince her. But it's just amazing. It's amazing to be able to talk to her about things that are different. Like, you know, we talk about makeup now and skincare and all the things, right? And I love it. I love it. But it has been a little bit, as far as pronouns and using the dead name, that's taking a little bit longer. I'm no longer using the dead name. I'm using the right pronouns now, but it did take a little bit of time because for 31 years we knew her
Mhm.
as this other person, and same person, different name. And her dad, you know, struggles with it as well, which is normal. Like we don't uh we don't beat ourselves up over it, and she understands. She's just like, you've known me like this for so long, I can't expect you to just snap your fingers and be there, right? And so family members are starting to get used to this, right? um but you know, the one question I get is, how is it that you have two trans children? Like, how is that possible?
Because you're sharing the lottery with me. That's why
No,
we
they
hit the
haven't met. They
lottery.
haven't met Kimmy yet,
I
and they haven't
said,
even met Vicky either, because Vicky has two children who are
We're out
genetic.
there.
But I do want to. I do. In all fairness to the name of the podcast, I do want to focus on yours journeys. I want you to see if you can delve into why you feel like your husband is struggling more with the one child versus the other. If you can, obviously he's not here, and it's just
yeah.
like your children. I also don't like to talk about people who are not here, but
Oh
I'm thinking if
yeah.
you have been
No,
married
I
for that long, maybe you do know. And then also, truly, how did you make the shift? Because this is what parents want to hear, because their kids are already where your kids are. They want to hear,
yeah.
how did you make this shift? What did it for you? What made you, these are the questions that I always want to ask, because people ask me that all the time.
Well, I think for me personally, I'll speak for me and my journey. I saw how happy my other child was, and I believe in loving my children, each of my children equally. So I can't be one way with one child and one way with another child. That was just not in my makeup. It's just
Mhm.
not. And so I just want my children to be happy, and that is the bottom line. And however that works and however that happens, that's all that matters. And like I said, I have always told my kids to be authentic within themselves. I have had to heal through things and had to become authentic myself. And that was what I wanted to impart on my own kids. And so, in doing that, when my oldest came out, I just, you know, I was like, okay, we've done this before. um, it's a little bit different. There was a little bit more fear. I got to say, there was a little bit more fear for me with the male to female than it was the female to male transition.
The truth is the truth. I mean,
Right.
it's true.
It is what it is.
It's true.
Right.
The world is not very kind to trans
No,
women. I mean, we're
it's
not going to
not.
sit here and pretend.
Yeah.
We had a trans woman. I forget her name, the beautiful one who used to be like a bodybuilder and Kimmy, what was she? She was like a bouncer and a
Oh, she was
football player. Yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah. So she was all of that. So living in her truth. And she said the same thing. I mean, the world is not kind
Yeah.
to
And
trans
so for
women.
me, and I think that's honestly, I think that's a little bit of the holdback from the hubby. I feel
Mm,
like it's more of the safety factor of it,
Mhm. Yeah.
because he fully, like, he catches himself with the pronouns. So if
mm,
he mispronoun, if he uses even if it's not
mm,
directly to her,
mm,
he catches himself and goes, and so he's very much well aware of it, and it is changing and it is evolving. And he calls her by her new name.
mm.
And so, it's just, I think for him, it was letting go of the son.
Yeah, I was gonna actually. I wrote that down. I wrote that down because he said, "So I got my daughter back," and we joke about that. But also, your husband got his son back.
Correct.
I mean, and obviously, this is not a case of tearing the family up into shreds. But I
No.
think this is. I'm almost trying to say, yeah, but also, so was the son. Like eventually,
Mhm.
of course. I mean, we got the daughter back, but also we got a son. Two
Right.
cannot replace each other, but
Right.
I think it's unique that you got the gender that you
I
Mhm.
know.
think it is too. And
I think that's all.
honestly, it's like, I think it's amazing. I think that this was a gift given to me, and it was a gift given to them, because it makes them amazing human beings. They have to come and get over more things than other people do. They have to stand in their truth, and they have to be vulnerable. And if they don't have parents that come alongside of them and say, look, I know it's scary. I know it's scary to be vulnerable, but mom, you've seen mama be vulnerable. You've seen dad be vulnerable. 'Cause my husband he's an emotional man. He has no problem showing his emotions. Um, and that's just who we are as a couple.
I wish you
And
could come on the show. I wish because we really do need more.
I tried to
um,
get him on.
No, but I also did not. I'm not saying in retrospect. I'm just saying now that I'm
Yeah.
hearing the theory. But I know Kim and
Yeah.
I have been looking. I finally found a dad this past week. Actually, two dads who are going to come on the show. One of them is just a parent ally, period, and the other one is one is a parent ally and one is an ally. And I just thought that was so neat that they are out there.
Mhm.
They are out there, and just the more we look for them, we
They
find them.
they
Yeah.
are out there, and he just can't wrap his head around a dad that doesn't love their child unconditionally. So
Seriously.
he just can't. He does not understand it. And so this year we have decided, you were talking about the hugs, the mom hugs. So I did get myself one of those t-shirts.
I got the pin and the T-shirt. Yes.
Yep, and I got one for dad. So dad has dad
Nice.
hugs. He
Oh,
he is
he's gonna
ready,
be a
and
busy guy.
he
He's
is
gonna be a busy
ready.
guy.
He is ready. I've shown him videos of other dads hugging kids. Excuse me.
How beautiful.
Hugging kids, and just them falling apart. And I told
Mhm.
I told him, I said, be ready,
Oh,
because this
Mhm.
is going to happen. This
Yeah.
is going to happen.
yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, bring him
Oh,
on.
that's
he's
so cute.
he's so he's so proud of his kids. And he is the one that went to Walmart and got these pins that says proud transparent. And
Nice.
and so for both of us, this journey has been such a learning experience for each of us. um but we have just, it has been like a blessing journey. It's just seeing our kids do extraordinary things and being extraordinary people. It just there's nothing left. Now I have a cisgender. In fact, when my second one came out, I went to my third kid and I said,
anything to know.
"Is there anything you need
You
to
need to
tell
tell
me?"
me.
He said, "Mom, I'm a straight cisgender male." I'm like,
Okay.
all right, cool. Because if you weren't, we would be fine with
I
that
mean,
too.
yes, true. Yeah.
Clearly.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But
That's cute.
he's incredible because that child, immediately when my son came out, from female to male, he, in no time, he was the first person to identify him as his proper pronoun. And I was so proud of him for that. And now, he has a sister, and it doesn't faze him. It has not fazed him at all. He's just like, okay, I have a sister, and
It's just keep it
I have
moving.
a brother, and
Keep it rolling. Yeah, I love that.
yeah, kids. That's what kills me, is because kids are so loving, and they don't see a difference. They don't
No.
care. It's the adults that cause the issue.
Yeah.
And out of their own insecurities, out of their own fears. And so that's why I go out. That's why I'm a big proponent of educating parents,
Yes.
educating people who don't understand. They don't understand. And so I have a way of explaining it biologically that people can wrap their heads around it.
Well, I mean, go ahead and do that. This show, as much as possible, we try to open it to conversations. We have a little over 10 minutes to go, and I would want you to talk a little bit about your book and where people can find you.
Oh.
But go ahead and explain. This is what Kim and I already know. But it's not a Kim and Dr. Lulu show. I mean, it has been. Every single Sunday we're prepared for, is it going to be Kim and Dr. Lulu? So
Yeah.
today, and we were almost ready for you, and then you came. So but since you're here, go ahead and say it, because it's streaming on all the platforms for people to learn. So go ahead and tell us.
Oh, yeah.
What you do, how you do it.
So when I talk to, I'm a speaker, and I was speaking to an audience, and I was given, they just said, talk about something, right? And so I was like, okay.
Okay, you called it.
Yeah.
And so what I explained to them is this. Biologically, when the baby is in the utero, their brain is the first thing that develops. And the brain is where the gender is. It's not in the parts. So when the baby is born, their gender is here. But sometimes kids are born and their gender is here, but it doesn't match up with what their parts are. And I had people coming up to me afterwards going, I've never heard that before. I've always thought that this was a choice. And I said, nope, it's not a choice. It's something that happens in utero when they're developing. And your gender and your parts have nothing to do with each other. So even when I look at these gender reveal parties, I think, are you sure? Like,
I know. I look at them very skeptical
Kim
these
and I,
days.
we're side eye them. We are not Kim and
the joke's on you, right? Right?
Yes, the joke will be on you.
Yeah. So so that's how I educate people, and try to explain to them in a way that they can wrap their heads around without having any kind of negative mindset around it. And and I said, if you want to do the research, go right ahead. There is plenty of research out there that proves my point.
Yeah.
Right. So if you want to go out, I said, understand, as a trans mom, I did a boatload of research.
Oh, yeah. There
A
was no stone left unturned. I can
boatload.
tell you
I
that.
talked to everyone
Exactly.
I could talk to. I read every pamphlet, book, whatever it was, to educate myself, because I was not going to go into this not knowing anything. So, and the rest of it, you learn as you go.
As you go, that's right.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
the
It's ever
child
evolving.
the child is also. And now you know what? Even if we remove transgender, as a cisgender woman myself, I'm still learning about my body today.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
why won't it trans? I mean, you
It's
know,
it's learning about your body. It's learning about how it
period.
works.
Period.
People want to make it this whole big thing, and it really isn't. It
No,
really isn't.
never was.
And I said, things happen in utero all the time, right? And
Things happen in utero all the time. Sometimes you're born with 6 fingers. Sometimes you're born with
right,
the heart on the right
exactly.
side. Nobody
Question,
wants to think about that. Sometimes you're born with one testicle. Sometimes you're born with
right?
an imperforate anus. I know this because I'm a physician.
Yeah,
Sometimes you're born with club feet. Oh my! Are you
you
kidding me
get
right
it.
now? Are
You
you
get
kidding
it.
me right now?
And so
So
that's
like,
what I put into their brains. That's what I put it into their brains, so that they can wrap their head around it when it's a biological thing that happens.
I love
And
Beautiful.
and then there's no, like, you know, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. um Not that I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know what I'm talking about. So
I love it. Well,
yeah,
you have not one but two reasons to know, and that's
absolutely.
beautiful. What about your book, Kimmy? Do you have any questions or any thoughts before she goes into her book?
Um, I love the way you explained that the brain develops first. I mean, that's pretty easy to understand, and I just want to reiterate that point. Your brain develops before your genitals. That's pretty easy to understand.
Yeah,
And sometimes it doesn't match.
right.
And kids have brown eyes, and sometimes they have red hair, and
Sometimes
sometimes
they change
you
from
know
brown when they were
It,
younger to green when they're older.
sometimes they have terrible allergies because they inherit that too.
exactly.
Who cares? Let's
Absolutely.
embrace our differences and just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
one of the things that I wanted the three of us to agree on, that if we don't get anything, I mean, we have 5 transgender kids. So can we all agree that their mental health and their quality of life and their trajectory on adulthood came laser focused once they figured this out,
Yes.
and were supported by us?
Yes. Yes.
I love that.
I mean, my
And
Every
kids
single
tell,
one.
yeah,
Every single one.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this is, just random 5, kids of, and you got the moms here to tell you it. So I just want to just
yep,
throw
yeah.
that out
And
there.
also to mention,
100%.
just since we're talking about mental health, that also the parents' mental health also matters.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Oh,
it's not a joke. It's not funny. It's not in the least bit easy. And so also take care of yourself as parents. Just
and when your kids'
ease
mental
on
health,
down that road. Ease on down the road of self-care, please, because it is real.
Hmm.
They're
Yep.
coming for you. The harder they come. I mean, we don't know who's going to win what after the election. So just brace up because we don't know.
I
Right.
We
don't know.
truly don't know.
Right. Um, so it's funny you should talk about that. I think that's a perfect segue into. So the book that I wrote is based on trauma that I went through as a 17-year-old girl. Um, in a nutshell, my dad was an LAPD detective.
Do we need to do a trigger warning real quick?
Yeah,
Trigger warning,
I
please.
know Kimmy's so big at that. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you so much.
Um, so my dad was an LAPD
Also,
detective.
5 minute warning. Sorry.
No
Just,
problem. I'll make it really fast.
yeah, no
So
problem.
my dad was an LAPD detective, and he was ambushed and gunned down on October 31st of 1985
Sorry.
He was picking up my then 6-year-old brother from school. And then my mom and I were called to the school. So we witnessed his body in the aftermath.
Oh my God.
Um, so that was very traumatic for me. And my book is called The Other Side of the Gun: My Journey from Trauma to Resiliency. So it's built in 2 parts. The first part is about all the trauma I've gone through. The second part is how I got through it and found resiliency.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much for
That's
sharing.
great.
Please tell us the name of the book one more time so I can write it in the comment section.
It's called The Other Side of the Gun: My Journey from Trauma to Resiliency.
Okay, I'm going to do the other side of the gun. ...
And it's on Amazon.
On Amazon. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all go check it out. Go find it. We are about supporting our guests here. I know that if you type in the words "the other side of the gun," I know you're going to pull up the book. So even if we didn't see the other part of it, you will pull up. And her name is Susan Snow. So again, you can't miss it. Susan, it has been amazing talking to you. Thank you so much for coming
Thanks
and
for
sharing
having
your
me.
story of not having one, but having 2 transgender kids. And to any parents out there who are thinking, I cannot manage with the one trans kid, okay, with the one lesbian or the one bisexual child, I'm going to throw it out there that it could be worse. And worse in the sense that you could have 2. Worse in the sense that whatever you're thinking now, Kimmy and Susan have thought about it, have been through it, have lived through it. So that means you can live through it. I love John Maxwell. Since I listened to that episode of his podcast, he said, you do hard things so you can build up the skills to do harder things,
Yep.
y'all. So it's not about to
Yeah.
get easier. I just wanted to put that out there.
Nope.
Okay, so it's not about to get easier. And the moms for trans kids are here to tell you that it's not going to get easier. My name is Dr. Lulu. I am a pediatrician and a life coach. I focus more on gender and sexuality. If you have any questions, please send them to us. We actually have an email on this podcast, momsfortranskids@gmail.com. And we can forward them to the guests that we've had, all the guests that we've had. Follow the podcast, share the podcast, tell someone about us. We're here to help. There's no other side of us. We're here to help because we are living our truth. And yes, it's scary, but we're doing it. We like to say it's hard and it's doable. So I don't know, Kimmy, what do you want to say so they can send them off into their week ahead?
It's hard and doable, but also take care. Remember, your self-care is number 1. And in allowing that self-care, allow yourself to accept your kid, allow yourself to listen and be the student, learn from all of their research, because my kids did all the research first. But it sounds like now that the word is starting to get out there, we're having these important discussions. It sounds like Susan just was able to just help with the transition, and that's a beautiful thing to do too. If you can help your kid along the way by educating yourself and taking care of yourself, then they've got a great role model. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. So
And if you're just joining us and you didn't hear that part, please rewind, because Susan and her husband actually did something that I didn't think I would ever hear. They
no,
helped
go
the child.
back and listen to the
I
whole
mean,
thing, because it's
yes,
amazing.
yes, it's amazing. And what about you, Susan? How do you send us off into our week that's ahead?
Well, I will say you're absolutely 100% right. You need to take care of yourself first and foremost, because if you don't, then you can't be 100% for your kids. So they need, they watch you. Whether it doesn't matter what age they are, they watch you and they see your resilience through things. And that is what you want to impart on your kids. So that's how I'm going to send you out. If anybody wants to talk to me, has questions, whatever, they can look me up on Instagram. My Insta is Susan_Snow1.
Let me see if I got that. Snow one.
Yep.
Is that it right there?
And I'm open to talking to anybody.
Will that be it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, fantastic. So y'all go find Susan Snow one. Phew, thank y'all so much as always. There are like 30 of you that joined us on Instagram. Please share the video, tell someone about it. I mean, we'll be back here on Sunday. I am in town this Sunday. I don't think I'm in town next Sunday, but I'm in town this Sunday, next Sunday rather. So we'll be here, and so is Kimmy. If I'm here, Kimmy's here, and we have another guest for you who will help you along your journey. We are truly blessed to have the gifts that we've been given, which are our kids, and able to share these gifts with y'all. So, I mean, that's kind of all I got. Y'all have a happy Pride. You like my
Happy
nails?
Pride.
Happy
You like my-
I
Pride.
love it. Yay. Nice.
Love it.
Believe it or not, the middle finger glows in the dark. Hey!
Yay. Useful. Very useful.
I know.
Is it orange? Oh, I mean, no. I'm not gonna
It's
say it.
yellow. It's
Oh,
yellow.
got it. Okay.
Okay.
This is my
I know
orange.
where you're going, Susan. I hear
No,
you.
no,
I
no,
see
no, no. I'm
you.
a Christian,
I
y'all.
see
I'm a
you.
Christian.
Okay.
Bye, y'all. Go follow Susan Snow. See y'all next Sunday. Susan and Kim, thank you all so much for sharing your Sunday evening with me. I cannot, I mean, I'm blessed to have y'all in my life. So thank you so much. Peace,
Thank you.
love, and so. Dr. Lulu, we are out. Bye.